lovely, lovely place. You know, culture, food, you know, all that, yada yada. But let me stop you there, because I'm not talking about Paris, the place. No, no. I'm talking about the icon, the legend, Paris. Well, yes. So, hi all. My name is Nora, and today I will be talking about the life and the legacy, I don't know, all about Miss Paris Hilton. Now, I'm holding this toothpaste box because I just need something to talk into. It makes me feel more comfortable. And I'm on my bed. There's a light in the background. I'm recording on a Mac. This is making noise. It's janky. Mind your business. Okay. Let's just go ahead and get started, okay? This is going to document, you know, her early life, the rise, the fall, and the rise again. Everything in between it. Not too detailed, but a little detailed. Okay. So let's get into it. Paris Whitney Hilton, yes God, was born on February 17, 1981 in New York City to her parents Richard and Kathy Hilton. Yes, Kathy Hilton of Real Housewives fame, icon and legend.
But it's hard for me to sit there and pretend like everything's great and hunky-dory when it's not.
Who is hunky-dory?
And she's the oldest of 4 children. Her father is Conrad Hilton's grandson, which is where they get the name Hilton, and he was the founder of Hilton Hotels, obviously. She's been doing some promo for them recently, which was very cute. Love to see that. Her childhood was very hectic, to say the least. Her family frequently moved from Beverly Hills to New York, the Hamptons, Manhattan, etc. She mostly attended school in California, a little in New York, until the age of 16. She was, around this age, she was actually described as a tomboy, believe it or not. Just like me, slay. She skated, she played ice hockey. She had a lot of like exotic pets, monkeys, snakes, and such. And she had dreams of becoming a veterinarian. So cute. After moving to NYC at the age of 16, this is where she made her nightlife debut, which she would eventually become known for. She was frequenting nightclubs and high-profile events using a fake ID, obviously, because she was 16. And she would frequent places like the Plum, Moomba, and the Waldorf, all of which led her to get a little bit of the spotlight, a little bit of fame. But this didn't last long because all this clubbing and going out, it wasn't going over well with her parents. And they were kind of strict. They were kind of conservative. They didn't want her to date. They didn't want her to wear makeup. Her mom sent her to etiquette classes. You know, they wanted her to fit in with the social life. They were socialites. They were classy. They didn't want her out and about partying, getting fame, and making the Hilton name look bad. You know what I'm saying? So, unfortunately, because of this, this is when she started getting sent to the teen rehabilitation centers, aka these facilities where they just, you know, abused kids, and they still do to this day. From the ages of 16 to 18, she would just kind of cycle through these centers, one of which was the infamous Provo Canyon, which we will touch on more later. We are building up to the iconic era. Okay, so freshly 18, Paris is out of these teen rehabilitation centers, these abusive centers, and she is back. She is back in the NYC nightlife scene. And this is where she gets back, and she's regaining that fame that she was building back when she was 16. She's getting some press. 19 years old, she signs to T Management, which is Donald Trump's modeling agency at the time. I don't know if that still exists. Well, it definitely doesn't still exist, or how even successful that was. But she signed to that when she was 19. And then where it all changes, where it all really just explodes, I guess you could say, is September of 2000. She is shot for Vanity Fair by David LaChapelle. And, like, if you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? Like, that man, the things that he produces, it's iconic. And so some stuff begins to happen for after this. She gets her first acting role in the movie Sweetie Pie. Nobody moved, but, slut. So she's got this article out. She's partying. She's going to Moomba, Studio 54, Lotus, Spa, and Eugene's, all these nightclubs. And any of these articles written at the time, it was kind of a package deal situation. It was her and her sister, because her partying was honestly more attached to the fact that she was a Hilton heiress. It didn't have so much to do with her yet. Fast forward, 2001, 2002, obviously, she's building her fame, and 2002 is when we get her iconic 21st birthday party dress and tiara. Like, slap, But 2003, that's when the fame really, just goes crazy, So this is when she met Jason Moore, who would become her manager. And Moore saw Paris as a brand. He saw something that could be turned into this multi-million-dollar empire. He saw her potential for superstardom, and he was the one that really pushed her to become this global empire that we know. So, December 2nd, The Simple Life premieres.
This is a potential mother.
Yes. Simple Life premieres. Paris stars alongside Nicole Richie, working, living, the simple life, living normal lives. If you haven't seen the show, go watch it. What are you waiting for? It is absolutely iconic, essential viewing. It was hugely popular at the time. First episode had 13 million viewers, yes. And not only was the show super successful, just, because it was funny to see rich girls doing normal people things, but also, specifically, Paris and Nicole's personalities. People liked it. They liked it, and they also hated them. But, we love to watch what we hate sometimes, so that's why. The show cemented Paris, basically, in her dumb blonde persona, I guess is what we can call it. This, in the show, she decides this is when she's gonna take up the voice, keep it on, keep this facade going for another, 7-ish years until, 2010. Yeah. And she said, actually, that she felt like if she used the voice all the time on The Simple Life, it would help to cement her brand. So that was the thinking behind that, which I'm sure was fueled by her then manager, Jason Moore. Also, Simple Life introduces the world, or at least the US, to Paris's fashion, her iconic fashion. The tracksuits, just the staples of Y2K fashion that we know today in this era because it has made a comeback as fashion 20-year cycles do. Staples include Juicy Couture tracksuits, Von Dutch trucker hats, and the accessory dog. All of these things basically invented by Paris. So 2003 is, looking good for her. However, this is also the year that we get the leaking of her revenge porn. I don't know if I can say that, but her revenge porn tape was leaked, which is honestly devastating for her. And if you've seen the documentary, then you know how she felt about it, and you know how her family felt about it, and how devastating it was for her, and especially at the time for people to say that she did it on purpose to boost her career. It was just really sad for her, and showed the media was just awful back then, just awful. But what's new? What is new about the media being cruel to women? Nobody moved. In a response to the tape, though, however, she makes a cameo on SNL with Jimmy Fallon, I believe, on Weekend Update. And she's making these jokes, these double entendres about the Hilton Hotel. And she has a kind of a good sense of humor about it, which is surprising, especially considering what will happen later. Yeah, it's funny. I recommend. Go watch. So, like I was saying before, The Simple Life skyrocketed Paris into fame, into stardom, but it also kind of presented her with the biggest hurdle of her career, which was being taken seriously, you know. In putting on this persona, cementing herself as a brand, it also caused people to write her off, you know. Nobody wants to work with her seriously. She's famous among tabloids and among the youth, but like adults, you know, nobody really likes her. But this is gonna be the start of her becoming like absolutely inescapable in the media. Truly, truly unescapable. 2004, she continued doing acting roles. She had roles in The Hills, Raising Helen, an episode of Las Vegas, George Lopez, The OC, and Veronica Mars. She designed a jewelry line that was available exclusively from Amazon. And in September, she released her very first autobiography, Confessions of an Heiress, a tongue-in-cheek peek behind the pose, which was co-authored by Miss Merle Ginsburg. Yes! Miss Merle Ginsburg of Drag Race fame. You know, slay. And the book it performed, okay, 7th on the New York Times bestseller list. So, you know, we do what we can. Also, rounding out 2004, she created a perfume line with Parlux fragrances, which was originally planned to be a small release, but because it was so highly successful, it ended up being that she made several more perfumes with Parlux, which she has also become a little bit iconic for. Also in 2004, Jason Moore, her manager, pushes her to trademark her name and the catchphrase, "That's hot," which she's also very much known for her catchphrases, as shown on Simple Life. 2005, in February, Paris returns to SNL, but this time as the host, yes! But also, no, because her performance was received absolutely atrociously. Like, people hated it. It was very much a flop. And not only among audiences, but also among the people working at SNL. Apparently, she didn't try to get to know any of the cast. She was standoffish. And it got to the point where the cast members placed a bet on if she would ask a personal question to any of the cast. And apparently, she didn't. But, you know, I'm not going to hold it against her too bad, because apparently the writers pitched to her a sketch that would make a joke about the revenge porn tape, and she wasn't okay with that. And I guess they were mad, ? Like, huh?
Eyelashes, blank stare.
They were mad at her, I guess, because she didn't want to relive that traumatic moment. And I will also direct you to an interview Tina Fey did with Howard Stern, where she made some pretty disgusting comments. So yeah, that was really cute. She continues acting, and her first major film role is in House of Wax. Debuted to mixed reviews. She won a Teen Choice Award for Best Screen and was nominated for Best Framed Performance at the 2006 MTV Awards. But she also won a Razzie for Worst Supporting Actress. So, do with that what you will. She also appeared in a now infamous Carl's Jr. commercial where she's washing down this car, you know, she's like washing it down. She's like covered in soapy suds. She has like a bikini on. And it's very sexual, obviously. And so controversial that it inspired protest and gained enough viewers to crash Carl's Jr.'s website. As Mike's Mike would say. Like, yes, well, yes, you know? And also, her second book, Your Heiress Diary, Confess It All to Me, is published. Don't know much about this. Don't really think it made a splash. I'm not gonna lie. Introduces another fragrance called Just Me. But, you know, while things are looking good, not everything is good because The Simple Life is canceled. Canceled. Following a falling out between her and Nicole, and rumored to be because Nicole was jealous that Paris was getting all this fame, even though they were both co-starring in this show. And so, backstage at her hosting SNL, Nicole apparently showed a group of friends their revenge porn tape.
Oh, that's no.
In the sense that,
No.
you know what I mean?
This has never been confirmed, by the way, but this is just what people say. If you want a more in-depth, you know, kind of video tracking their beef, go watch Deep Dives video. However, it wasn't canceled for long. Fourth season was picked up by E, and they began shooting in February of 2007. So, the peak, yes God. 2006 marked the beginning of Paris's music career. Yes! Yes, music! Her debut single, Stars Are Blind. Like, yes, if you know, you know. Anyways, her debut single, Stars Are Blind, released on June 2nd in Europe and was leaked that day by Ryan Seacrest on his morning show On Air. Within minutes, the track began to pop up on radio stations around the US, leading her label to make the song available on June 5th, much ahead of schedule in the US. The next day, June 6th, the music video, directed by Chris Applebaum, premiered on MTV's website. Stars Are Blind reached the top 10 in 17 countries and was played on more than 125 pop stations in the US. And shortly after that, she would release her debut self-titled album in August of 2006. Produced by tons of people, including Dr. Luke.
Wait a minute, hold on.
But he's worked with, you know, a lot of famous pop star girls. And it peaked at number 6 on the Billboard 200, selling over 600,000 copies worldwide. Safe to say it received mixed reviews. But overall impression, you know, it's just a fun pop album. Like, don't take it too serious. I actually own the CD of this. But it is back home. Unfortunately, don't have the hard copy with me. So yeah. September. Fun little fact. 500 of her albums were changed by the artist Banksy across 48 stores in the UK. And they changed the cover art and it changed the actual track list to include remixes with satirical titles like Why Am I Famous? He's so funny.
Electric chair.
She continues acting, and she does this through the films Bottoms Up and National Lampoon's Pledge This. There's some controversy around this one. She decided not to attend the Cannes Film Festival premiere because the producers added extra nude scenes without her permission. Which is another great example of how people didn't take her seriously. And then they tried to like sue her for it, I believe.
Huh? What? Oh. Okay.
But ultimately, it ended up being settled out of court. 2006, 2007 are the absolute peak of Paris's exposure. Like, she is everywhere. You cannot pick up a magazine or look at a paparazzi picture without her being in it. Like, she's freaking massive, okay?
She's a mammoth, of course.
2007 is the year the infamous Bimbo
Talented,
Summit photograph
brilliant,
is taken.
incredible, amazing, show-stopping.
Need I say more? Like, hello. And although she's, you know, super famous, she is considered one of the worst celebrity role models. She's widely unpopular amongst the general public, and especially among people who weren't teens. Like, the boomers, the oldies, they were not messing with her. Also, aiding to her dislike amongst the public is that she begins to have trouble with the law. And June 2007, she actually has to spend time in jail for reckless driving, 45 days, I believe.
I'm a bad girl. I'm a bad girl. I'm a bad girl. I'm a bad girl.
And, despite her wide disapproval, she was among Google's top searches of the year, which, think about that. That's crazy. But probably best word to describe her at the time was overexposed, let's say. Okay. July of 2007, The Simple Life ended after its 5th season, and this would be kind of the beginning of the end for Paris. The media was completely dominated by her, but possibly due to public fatigue, constant stream of discourse, people were getting tired. In June, she was more popular than the 2008 election. Think about that. But also, several media outlets instituted a ban on reporting on her because people were getting tired. The fall. So, 2008 to 2019, which is a long period of time, would mark the slow descent for Paris into obscurity. Not necessarily obscurity, but just not to the level of fame that she had before. She's definitely still making money moves, she's in a couple of TV shows, she's still releasing music, fragrances, but really she's more in these global markets. She's going to South America, Asia, and she's capitalizing there, but definitely not in America. And she definitely was not a fixture of pop culture during this time. Certainly fell off. I know when I was growing up, didn't hear about Miss Girl. She was not relevant at the time. In 2008, she splits with her manager, Jason Moore, who basically helped build her career. So she's kind of just left to figure it out on her own. And I wouldn't say she really returned to American fame until about 2018, when she modeled Yeezy Season 6 collection with Kim Kardashian. And she starred and produced in a Netflix documentary called The American Meme, which were these were big for her, but also not to the extent that she used to be famous. This was definitely a rough period for her, let's say. But that was all about to change. That was all about to change come 2020. This is Paris. In 2020, the documentary This is Paris would release on YouTube and completely alter the trajectory of Paris's life, fame, career, everything. So the documentary, which is a little bit under 2 hours, reveals the horrors and abuse that she suffered at Provo Canyon during her time there. It looks into her daily life, showing the pressures that she's under to work and to continue her family's legacy, her relationships with her family, and her personal relationships, her love life. The documentary completely shifted the narrative around her. People were willing to see her in a more sympathetic light than they had ever before. And it came at a good time where the media was in this really self-reflective era. They were willing to see how, especially back in the early 2000s, how absolutely terrible the media treated women back then, with, this Free Britney sentiment and the like. People were really willing to give her a second chance, I feel like. And the fact that it released during the pandemic gave it a wider audience. People were at home. They had nothing to watch, so might as well turn on the documentary. In its first month, it had 16 million views, and today it sits at 77 million. So it's a massive documentary. So after this, she was able to, begin her comeback, return to the limelight. And despite, all that she had went through, and despite what this brought about for her, a new time to really focus on her and revamp her career, she has taken the time since this documentary release to push for legislation and regulations to these teen centers that are still abusing and harming kids to this day, and shut down centers like Provo Canyon. And so I really applaud her and commend her for that. She's doing good work, or at least it seems to be that she's doing good work to make sure this doesn't happen to anyone else. So that's good to hear. The present. So these days, Paris' comeback, it's in full swing. It's honestly happened. She is back. She is back and she's better than ever. Her public image has been completely revamped and she has a whole new generation of fans. Like young people like me, as well as people who misjudged her in the past. You know, they might have taken her persona at face value, even though they failed to see the comedy in it. But, you know, not everyone gets it. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't, you know? Currently, she sits at 20 million followers on Instagram. This has probably changed since I wrote this, because I wrote this a while ago. So yeah. And I think she's also been helped by the revival of, you know, this Y2K aesthetic. Like, she is the founding father of that. She's Miss Founding Father. Like, so she's really been helped by that. You know, her fashion is very much in style. And people recognize that. She has been a working girl. She's been in a Juicy and Savage X Fenty campaign. She has gotten married. She's wrote another book, which has performed a lot better and is taken more seriously today because it's a real look into her life, and I've heard good things about it. She had a Netflix series, Cooking with Paris, absolutely iconic. Go watch. A new Peacock series called Paris in Love. Didn't watch, but it looked kind of funny. I saw some edits, so it was cute. Engaged in some questionable NFT side quests, some Roblox side quests, but Homegirl is nothing if not Miss Capitalism, you know? She is gonna do anything for that check. So yeah. But she seems to have abandoned those side quests, thankfully, so good for her. So the phenomenon, the icon, the legend that is Paris Hilton, she will always be fascinating to the general public because she will go down in history as the original influencer. There would be no Kim K. There would be no Instagram, if we're being so real, if it was not for Paris Hilton. She single-handedly, like, invented the term famous for being famous and, like, invented creating a brand out of you, making you a brand. That was not a thing before her, you know? And I think a lot of people at the time, and still today, if we're being real, have just written her off as a, you know, idiot socialite who just capitalizes off her parents' fortune. But she said herself that, quote, "I wouldn't get this far in life being a dumb blonde." And she ate. It's true. You know, she didn't have to do all this. She could have lived off her father's money and she could have been solid. But she, you know, she chose to push herself this far and get herself to this status that she's at today. So, you know, slay. Honestly, definitely have, like, mixed feelings about Miss Girl. You know, obviously she's iconic. She inspires me in a lot of my fashions, if I'm being real. But, like, there's a lot of stuff also that I feel like her PR is absolutely impeccable because nothing negative about her, like, has been said. Besides the NFT thing, like, she hasn't been canceled or nothing like that. And if you dig deep enough, there's stuff to find. There's videos on YouTube of her being low-key racist and homophobic and possibly using drugs that her team just hasn't addressed. And, like, honestly, maybe it's in the book. I just haven't read it. Who knows? But yeah, there's definitely stuff there. There's things to criticize about her. You know, she's Miss Capitalist. She has a sketchy past. But I think we can still appreciate her, see her for the absolute icon that she is. And, you know, just appreciate her while we have her, you know? What if the doc had never been made? Then she would have just been lost to the times, you know? So I think we can love her and just, you know, let her slay another day. I'm sure she's going to be doing more iconic things to come. And me personally, I love to see it. I'm following on Instagram. I'm liking. Yes, yes. So that's pretty much all I have about Paris today. Thank you for watching. If you did, if anyone's watching this, that's great. Thank you so much for watching. And yeah, I'm gonna take it to a little info about me after this. But yeah, thank you guys. Okay, so if you made it this far, first of all, cannot believe it. Cannot believe it. Like, my God, you are a real one. You are real. But yeah, why am I sitting here doing this? You know, why am I doing this? I just felt inspired to, you know what I'm saying? This is a video that's like honestly been 3 years in the making. I know, like, not by the work. I'm not saying I spent 3 years on this, but like, it was an idea I had a while ago. I wrote a little script about it because I just thought it'd be cute and fun. And I'm finally getting to record it now. And why is that? Because I was watching a Mike's Mike podcast, Jumping in the Elevator. If you know, you know. I was watching a Jumping in the Elevator podcast the other day, where he said, like, if you have a passion for YouTube, like, just try it. And don't think about the money-making aspect of it. Or, like, you know, that it's a job. Just do it because you want to do it because it's fun. And I thought, that is me. I want to do it because it's fun, so I'm going to do it. And so that's why I'm here today. Very much inspired by Mike's Mike. He is so real and we love him. And I feel like you can tell by this video. I wanted to go for like a Mike's Mike / Mila Tequila, you know, deep dive, but still not too deep and not funny. Wait a minute, what was that? I meant to say funny. Funny video, hopefully. And yeah, I am a full-time college student. I'm literally in my dorm right now as I'm recording this, and if there's any choppy cuts, it's because my roommate came inside and I had to stop it because that's embarrassing and I don't want to talk in front of her. Yeah. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me. I'm happy that I did this. I'm really glad that I did this. And who knows, maybe I'll do it again. It was fun. And I'm excited to go edit this and make all the little thumbnails and make it so cute. Like, yes. Well, yes, you know? So anyways, that'll be it for me. I'm tired of talking. Yeah, thank you so much for watching if you did. And if nobody watches, that's okay, because I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for me. Yes, God. Thank you so much. Have a lovely, lovely day. Goodbye.